Today is day 13 in the effort to repeal the California Dream Act.
John and Ken Show, John Cobelt and Ken Shampoo, as angry, as frustrated, as furious as you are about that Dream Act to take tax money from American families and give it to illegal alien college students. There's only one way to stop it. One way. And it's not moving out of state. It's about joining Tim Donnelly's effort to repeal AB 131. StopAB131.com. AB 131 is the bill that authorized the taking of American tax money here in California and giving it to the illegal alien kids. And he's the assemblyman from San Bernardino and Los Angeles counties. He's put together a referendum. He just got clearance to start gathering signatures. We're going to talk to him now. We've been telling you about it for at least 2 weeks, that the only way to stop it is to go to his website, volunteer your time, your energy, and money. Let's get Tim on here. Tim, how are you?
I'm doing great, John. How about you?
We are good. So the big news today is?
Well, they've given us title and summary.
What's that mean?
Well, that means that's what goes at the top of the petition.
So they've given you clearance to gather signatures?
Yeah, they waited till the very last hour. They got it to us at about 4:30 yesterday afternoon. I don't know why it was so complicated to say, here's a petition to repeal, taxpayer funds for illegals to go to college. They put the term undocumented, and but it's fine. It's clear. It's actually one of the clearer ones, and we're good to go. We have our petitions all set up. And they're going to hit the printer Monday morning, and we will have petitions ready to get into people's hands on Tuesday.
Yeah, you know what? This wouldn't be complicated because you're just trying to repeal a law that's already it already exists and has been signed by the governor. It's not like you're making up a brand new referendum on some separate issue.
Yeah, but instead of just doing their jobs, everything's political. So I've never seen anything like it. Everything has to be politicized. I would call in. I've never dealt with people that were less polite than I'm trying to be nice than what was going on there, and they wouldn't give us straight answers on anything.
And who are you talking about? People at the Secretary of State's office?
Both the Secretary of State and the Attorney General.
They're both involved. The staff was rude to you because of the subject matter.
Oh, I can only surmise it. I mean, it was just unbelievable. And I gave the lady my email, and then she said, well, I wasn't going to email you because I didn't have an email. And I'm thinking, well, I gave it to you a week ago. Why would you not have? Why wouldn't you pick up the phone and call me? It's crazy. But we had to follow up with them every single day, and at the last minute, they finally did it in the last half hour they had.
All right, so now what for you?
So now the effort begins, and here's the exciting part. I mean, usually after you go off air and there's all kinds of other news stories, people forget about things like this, and they go back to their lives. We have been getting 100, 200, 300, sometimes 500 new sign-ups a day. We are well on our way to 10,000 volunteers.
10,000 volunteers?
So if you have to collect over 500,000 signatures statewide, when you want to collect, 700,000 or more?
We want 700,000, and yesterday we had a total of 7,000 volunteers. So you take 7,000 times 100, and there's your 700,000.
So they need to.
If everybody got 100 signatures, right. It is not that complicated. They make it sound like, all volunteers, it'll never work. We are raising money. And we've got a good deal on the printing, but you know what? A big part of it is the motivation. People have personalized this. This is a cause for them.
Well, this is interesting, and Tim, you know why people denigrate your chances of pulling this off. Everyone always looks back to history. And I think in the LA Times the other day, there was a claim that it's been decades.
It was a SAC-B.
SAC-B?
Yeah.
It's been decades since an all-volunteer effort pulled off a referendum and got it on the ballot. So it doesn't happen in modern times. It just doesn't. Virtually every referendum is either put on there by the legislature or is funded with tons of money. I remember back in 2003, most people were saying that it was impossible to recall the governor. Just never had. They just dismissed it out of hand until Darrell Issa the congressman, put up $1.7 million, and then suddenly the signatures were there. And even after the signatures were there and it was going to go on the ballot, everybody still said, it can't be done. And that's when Schwarzenegger stepped in. So I always hear this, it can't be done, and that's true until it happens. You see this all the time in sports, that, nobody has ever accomplished this, which is true until somebody accomplishes it. So, now the question is, and we may be going in uncharted territory here, you got 7,000 people. If they're truly motivated to get their 100 signatures each, then you've got something. If really these 7,000 people weren't just blown off steam by going to the website and saying, yeah, I'll help you, Tim. Damn it, I'll do that. If they really mean it and really do it, then you can pull it off.
Well, John, let me tell you, it's the craziest thing I've ever seen. We haven't been able to get back to everybody. People have called in the first day. We logged over 500 phone calls on 3 cell phones, and we've set up a permanent phone, and we've sent all this contact information up to our website, but we can't keep up. And the bottom line is, when you have people contacting you 3 times and saying, look, somebody get back to me, I'm absolutely serious about this. Now, are all 7,000 going to volunteer? No, that never happens. But let's say have to. You give me 3,500 people. Well, I took a district they said was unwinnable with 12 volunteers. I walked a district that had 423,000 people, and we did it in 4 months. We have a close to the same time period, but we have way more people. Yeah. We have businesses that are now signing up and saying, you can set up in front of our store. We just had a major chain tell us that, but they don't want their name out on air. And I said, fine, we'll respect that. But we are seeing cooperation from corners of the universe, the political universe, that are so diametrically opposed. It's really an exciting story in and of itself. And I think it's just going to grow, and it's going to be a lot of fun to be a part of. Well, yeah. I have absolutely no doubt that we're going to get at least 700, maybe 750,000 signatures. 1 million is our goal.
I think the signatures are out there. There's no question about it. The signatures are out there. Can you get the infrastructure together to harvest those signatures?
Harvest? By the way, you have until January 6th, right?
Right. Well, and so we're going to say January 5th because we want to be careful and tell everybody you've got to have your stuff in on January 5th. Now,
my understanding is there will be no online downloading of petitions. You're going to have actually people sign them in person out there in the streets.
That's it. I'm not going to. We made that mistake with SB 48, and you had 15 different versions of this petition running.
What was that?
Stop SB 48 was the gay history referendum that just failed. They got a lot of signatures. They got 500,000 signatures, but they didn't get the 700,000 to compensate for those that were going to be invalid. So, and that was an all-volunteer effort. The problem with the downloadable is so many of the petitions that were signed, and people were running around getting all kinds of signatures, but it doesn't comply with the myriad of rules. That there's state laws that say you have to have 24-point text here, and you have to have 18-point text here, and it's in code 902.1.7. I had to hire a lawyer to look over the petitions. I could be printing them right now, but I'm being careful. I sent the petition up physically to the lawyer to have him look over every bit of it, measure it, and make absolutely certain so we don't waste our money and waste our time. But why is our government making it so hard for us to repeal one of their stupid laws?
Because they don't want you to repeal one of their stupid laws.
The same thing like the death penalty. There's an infrastructure that does not want you to upset what they consider to be legislative duty. They make the laws, the people just have to obey them.
That's the other team. The other team isn't going to make it easy for you to score a run.
Well, here's what you need to do, Tim, whenever you can. You need to start posting up on the website places where people can go to sign these petitions once you get that organized.
That's what I'm working on right now. I've already got a number of places. We're going to have that up on the website over the weekend. By the time people are ready to get their petitions, they're going to have a place they can go. And I believe that people are motivated enough that they'll drive there. They'll get their 10. If somebody says, hey, I'm committing to 100, we're asking people to commit. Hey, how many signatures are you willing to get? If you absolutely insist on having them mailed, send us an email. Tell us your mailing address. Tell us how many signatures you're going to get for us, and we'll mail them out to you.
Yeah. But you got to stand in front of stores. You can't just go door to door in your neighborhood and get your family and friends. You got to stand in front of the big stores where you have
you get the 100.
Yeah, you got hundreds of people coming by. You need high traffic areas.
And that's part of the volunteer effort. And right now I want to put it out there. We are going to set up easy ups, and we're going to have a nice table with a nice banner. And the banner is going to say, "Stop the California Dream Act /nightmare." And people are going to know what table they're walking up to. They're not just walking up to some random signature gathering table. They're going to be attracted to walk up to that. They're going to be able to sign the petition. We're going to have it staffed by volunteers who know what they're doing.
All right, now the potential for a vote would be next November if you actually pull this off?
Yeah, because the governor signed SB 202.
That's right, which puts all the initiatives into November next year.
There you go. So this is going to be on the November ballot. Well, what's that going to do? That's going to drive a lot of people who are very motivated to vote for our side of things, which is the conservative side, basically. They're going to wind up voting for conservatives.
Yeah, don't underestimate, though. There are...
And don't sell it as just conservative. There's plenty of outraged taxpayers.
Sell it to parents. Believe me, just sell it to parents.
John, don't get me wrong. The coalition we're putting together, there's a 25% of the people now are Democrats that are writing to me. And one lady, she wrote a big, long email, and she said, look, I don't agree with you on this, and I don't agree with you on that. But as a parent and as a taxpayer, I am with you 100%, and I'm volunteering. I am not here, and I'm not arguing with anybody over political issues. This is a completely separate thing.
Right.
All I'm saying is those of us that are rational, I believe the 80% of us that live in the center, and that includes Republicans and Democrats and independents, we are going to have better representation coming out of the 2012 election than we have had in 20 years because this is on the ballot. That's a motivation to get it on the ballot.
All right, we got to go, Tim. All right, we'll keep us up to date. We'll put you on next week when you get more information.
Absolutely. Guys, drive traffic to my stopab131.com. That's where you can sign up to get petitions, and you can send us an email and tell us how you want to help.
All right, and again, that's on our website at johnandken.com. Assemblyman Tim Donnelly. When we come back, we'll return to talk about our good old friends at the California Air Resources Board. We'll see what they're up to.
John and Ken, KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio.